Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world, talking about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, another mock draft. I know, but this one is one I really like mostly because Dane Brugler is a guy that I ride with him, dude. I almost cussed right now. I really ride with that dude. He comes out with the beast every single season. He has in-depth scouting on all these players. It's something that I read religiously, and I look and I compare to what I have on my sheets. And man, Dane Brugler is the guy that goes in deep. I really like his stuff, and he really makes a lot of sense when you look at his reasoning behind his picks. A little bit different here. He does have trades, so it's going to be fun to look at full 7-round mock from the Athletics, Dane Brugler. All right, but before we do, I want to make sure everyone please to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's absolutely free to do. It's a great way to support the channel, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing and watching the video, which of course I do appreciate. All right, guys, let's get to it. All right, we're going to start at the top, okay? Look, I know that I've been talking a lot about different positions here with the first pick, 6 overall. Initially, I was like, you know what? I don't see why Shedeur Sanders is getting all the hate he's getting. His tapes looks good, and he's a solid player, and he's a guy that you could probably grow with a little bit. But then we got Geno Smith, and quarterback really wasn't a need. Then I started looking at Ashton Jeanty, and I'm like, man, that's a great player. Ashton Jeanty definitely is one of the elite players in college football last season. He was, runner-up for the Heisman and everything, and just an overall stud. But I'm thinking to myself, I think I might be looking into this lens with a little bit more of my eyes than what the Raiders would do. And ultimately, when you do a mock draft, you really shouldn't do a mock draft with what you should do, what you would do as the person drafting. You really want to mock off of what you feel the teams are going to do, because that's going to be one that's going to be more realistic. Now, what we know about Spy Tech and we know about Pete Carroll and all that is they like to fortify the trenches, which is fine with me. I just want to get an impact player at 6 if we stay there. So Dane Brugler has the Raiders, the first round, number 6 overall, taking offensive tackle from Missouri, Armand Membou. Now, look, this is pretty much a pick that is not only a need for the Raiders to bolster that offensive line, but ultimately you could pretty much pick any position you want, and guys are going to be able to mix and match and move around. That's one of the things that Tom Telesco did do last season, is he picked a couple of guys in the offensive line in Jackson Powers-Johnson and in DJ Glaze, who can kind of shift positions and be pretty good in either one. So you do have some flexibility. With Armand Membou, he is going to be a tackle, a bookend on the other end to Colton Miller. So you have your right tackle. DJ Glaze was actually slotted to be more of a guard than a tackle because they really underestimated his lateral movement ability. So that still is a possibility. And man, I mean, the offensive line does stack up looking pretty good when you have an Armand Membou who is super athletic. He's 6'4", about 330, so he's a huge kid, really strong. And he really killed it in the combine with his athletic ability and really shot him up the draft board. So it wasn't like he was this guy that came out of nowhere. He was a really good prospect already, but his combine and workouts and all that stuff, pro days, it really pushed him up in front of the upper echelon of offensive linemen. And ultimately, like I said, I want an impact player at that position. And looking at the history of Spytek and Pete Carroll fortifying the trenches, and also they want to run the ball better and they want to protect Geno Smith, is definitely something that a direction I feel that the Raiders could go in. And best of all, Dane Brugler sees Armand Membou as a bookend tackle for years to come, a starting tackle in this league for 10+ years. You can't go wrong with this pick. I do like Dane Brugler's pick here. I wouldn't be mad at whatsoever. Fortifying the offensive line with a stud athletic player like Armand Membou is definitely a really good way to go. All right, next pick, 2nd round, number 37 overall. I mean, we did pass on Ashton Jeanty in the 1st round, so we should go running back, right? Considering that's what Pete Carroll wants to do, and that's what, Chip Kelly really likes to do, and that's kind of like why you get an offensive lineman in the first place, right? Well, here we go. Quinshon Judkins, running back from Ohio State, is the pick for Dane Brugler at number 37 overall, and it does make a lot of sense. Now, I made a video of how Quinshon Judkins is going to be like Beast Mode 2.0 because of his physical attributes and his running style. And that's just going to echo right now. Look, you get a guy like Quinshon Judkins in the backfield, right? You have your Lightning, who's Mostert, who is still really fast, and you have your Thunder in Quinshon Judkins, which is what Chip Kelly had at Ohio State. It worked out really well. Both of them were over 1,000 yards. Here's one thing that you may not know about Quinshon Judkins. Despite his size and his speed, his overall just violent mindset when running the ball is he scored an overall 92 athletic score for running backs. That was second overall in all combine running backs. A 92 score of athleticism is through the roof, man. So just because he's a bigger back doesn't mean he's not athletic. He's quick, he's decisive, he's a one-cut guy, and he runs with attitude. Definitely things that Chip Kelly loves and also Pete Carroll wants out of his offensive running game. Last but not least, Dane Brugler sees Quinshon Judkins as a lead back in the NFL for years to come. Again, 2 home run picks coming right now. And Dane Brugler feels it's better than getting Ashton Jeanty in the first round and then alignment in the second round. He said it would be a better overall for the Raiders offense getting Armand Membu in the first and Quinshon Judkins in the second, even though Quinshon Judkins is not the running back that Ashton Jeanty is. He feels the combination of Membu and Judkins is a better combination than Jeanty and another tackle or offensive lineman that you can get in the second round. It's tough to argue with it, man. Armand Membu and Quinshon Judkins are both excellent players. All right, staying in the second round, we don't have 2 second rounders, right? Well, we do now, because Dane Brugler had the Raiders swinging a trade to move up from third round into second round. Now, how did this trade break down? Let's talk about it really quick. Dane Brugler has the Raiders trading their third round pick number 68 and their fourth round pick number 108 to Carolina for pick number 57. What does that do for us? That gives us the ability to get another high-end player and give more picks to a team like Carolina who desperately needs them. We got a lot of picks later in the draft to fill some holes in some of these deeper positions, right? Well, we need playmakers, and that's exactly where we went, because with our second round pick, we picked Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. You look at these measurables, right? 6'4", 215, 220 around there. Kid runs a 4.4 740, 39-inch vertical. The dude's a freak of nature, right? And that's what you're looking for with a guy that you pick him this high. You give up 2 picks for one to get a guy. You want a guy that can go out there and be an X receiver. Jaden Higgins can do that. He's fast. He can run routes. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's good after the catch. He can do it all. This is another home run pick that Dane Brugler has in this mock draft for the Raiders. What are you going to do? You fortify your offensive line. So what you do there is, presumably what you're going to do is you're going to put Membu at the right tackle and move DJ Glaze into the right guard. So you have right guard of Glaze, you have center JPJ, you have left guard, probably going to be Parham, and then you have Colt Miller on the other end at left tackle. That's a pretty nice offensive line if you ask me. So you're going to have better pass protection, number one, and number two, you're going to have better run blocking too. With that, you had Quinshon Judkins in the second round, a violent runner. You're going to be your hammer to your thunder to your lightning with Raheem Mostert, and the ability to really run the football however you want to run it, tough, short yardage, getting them out wide or out in the screen game with Mostert. Multiple ways you can attack. Now, on the outside, you have that X receiver, that big X in Higgins, and you also have on the other side, you have Jacoby Myers, and you have Brock Bowers running around there. Just everywhere you could put to be a target for this quarterback. Look, this is looking up to be a pretty good draft so far. I kind of like what they're doing here. We have a lot of picks late. We have a lot of guys that we can get at depth positions, right? We need guys that are going to be big-time playmakers, and this is what's going to happen when we trade up, again, to get into the second round and get Jaden Higgins. Now, Shane Brugler says that Higgins has the physicality and the catch radius to be an automatic impact player in the NFL, and that's what I like to hear. Automatic impact players is definitely what you need, especially when you get him in the first 2 rounds. All right, surprise, surprise. We are in the third round. Now, we traded our third round pick, didn't we? Yeah, we did. But then we traded our 5th round pick, number 143 overall. We traded a 4th round pick next season to the 49ers for pick number 100. And with pick number 100 in the third round, Dane Brugler has the Raiders selecting Billy Bowman, safety out of Oklahoma. Now, he's safety in name only because he was really more of a slot corner than anything else. Now, if you saw my video about Jade, this is very similar, maybe not as athletic, but Billy Bowman is kind of like a Jade clone, and you get someone who's right there as far as talent-wise and ability, but you don't have to spend the number 9 overall pick in the previous video. Look, Billy Bowman can do a lot of things and serve a lot of purposes for this defense. The main thing is he can cover the slot. Right now, we have Bennett, who's played at a high level last season before he got hurt, so that's kind of a question mark. But he did really well on the outside. I think he's going to be a guy we can count on the outside. There's also DeCam Richardson, who has the ability and the size and the measurables that Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham really love to play on the outside. If that doesn't work out, you also have Eric Stokes you brought in from Green Bay, who, again, has the size, the ability, and the speed to play on the outside. Well, that's really where he's best. So what do you need? You're just going to give the slot to Jeremy Chin or Isaiah Polamalu? Like, you can't give it to him full time. They can do it in a pinch, but they can't do it all the time. That's where Billy Bowman comes into play. He can play the slot. He can also move back and be versatile and play the safety. He can blitz well. This is a guy that you can get to play a lot of different positions and really fit into that multi-scheme, kind of molding scheme that Patrick Graham loves to play. All right, with all these trades, we don't have a pick in the 4th round. We don't have a pick in the 5th round, which is fine because you expect the first 3 round guys to start anyway, and you got 4 guys in the first 3 rounds. I mean, it's pretty good so far. So we go all the way to the 6th round for our next pick, and this pick is going to be Teddy Buchanan, linebacker out of Cal. Look, Teddy Buchanan started his career at UC Davis, an FCS school. Then went up to the big leagues with Cal, and he didn't slow down from there. Look, this guy is a great cover linebacker, and that's really one of the things that Pete Carroll is looking for in a linebacker is to be able to cover these tight ends and some of these running backs out of the backfield. Teddy Buchanan can definitely do that. Also, he's a tackling machine, man. Last season, he had 114 tackles. He had 5 sacks as an inside linebacker. The dude can blitz. He can do a lot of different things. And he went to the Raiders on a visit. I really do think they like Teddy Buchanan late in the draft. It's going to be a sleepy pick because I think he's going to get a lot of playing time with the uncertainty of Landon Roberts and Devin White and the rest of the guys in the linebacking core. All right, a few picks later, we have pick number 213, also in the 6th round. And Dane Brugler has us selecting Garrett Dellinger, guard from LSU. When you talk about experience, this is Dellinger's thing. He's played a ton of games with LSU at a high level, and he's played at a high level. He's a 4-year starter at LSU. Primarily played left guard, but we're really getting him for his versatility. I understand that I already spelled out the offensive line of Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Jackson Powers Johnson, DJ Glaze, and also Armand Bembou that we got in the 1st round. But you need more guys in there. And Alex Cappa, although I think he's primed for a bounce-back season after last season, he's getting a little bit older. And although he's going to be a good mentor for these young guys, pretty soon the young guys are going to take over. And Dellinger's a guy that can go in there and definitely get a lot of good quality snaps for you if you need it out of like a swing position. Okay, we're getting close here. Here's our 3rd of 3 6th-round picks. And Dane Brugler has us selecting Yahya Black, defensive tackle from Iowa. I love this pick. Look, John Jenkins is not signed yet. So what do? You just draft another John Jenkins who's younger and cheaper. Yahya Black, he's huge, man. He's like 6'6". He's 340 pounds damn near. He's just a ideal run stuffer in this defense. You're going to have Adam Butler. You're going to have Christian Wilkins, who's more the penetrating type of guys, more the pass rusher guys. Now, Yahya Black really isn't a pass rusher. He's a road grader. He is a run stuffer. He is a space eater. He is a double team eater, maybe even sometimes triple team eater. You need that kind of guy with that kind of strength and ability to get guys and stand them up and really clog up the inside of that line. What that does is it allows your fast linebackers like a Teddy Buchanan, like a Devin White, to be able to run quickly to the spot and beat blockers there because blockers are getting eaten up by the guys inside. Definitely a great pick overall. He may not be ready to play right away, but definitely a developmental guy who could really pay dividends in the future in the run stop. All right, last pick, 7th round. Dane Brugler has us going again for a big, tall, measurables having wide receiver. This one is going to be out of Arkansas. It's Isaac TeSlaa from Arkansas. This kid is just measurables dripping all over him, okay? He's 6'4", 214 pounds. He runs a 4.43 40 and has a 39.5-inch vertical. That sounds very familiar from the guy that got in the 2nd round. Now, he's got a little bit of work to do as a route runner. He's kind of underdeveloped, but with these skills, he could definitely be taught and definitely be an asset on the offensive end. You have guys that are clones of one another because if one guy goes down, you have another guy that could hop in his place. Also, you have these guys. You have a Brock Bowers. You have a tall guy over here. You got a tall guy over there. You got great route runners in Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. You got a guy out of the backfield like Raheem Mostert. That's like a nightmare in the red zone, right? You got two guys with jump balls who are 6'4", who can leap out of the stadium. You got other two guys who can run every single route and get open right away. And you got a guy out of the backfield that's super dangerous who was one season away from scoring over 20 touchdowns. Look, man, this is why Dane Brugler is like the man when it comes to these like in-depth mock drafts, because everything just makes perfect sense. You get two big body receivers on the outside who can block, who can run routes, who can go for 50-50 balls, who are good after the catch with great measurables. You put a running back as a complement to the running back you already have. You solidify the offensive line and also get depth. You give yourself some key pieces on defense. Man, this is really starting to work here. This is why I love the beast and Dane Brugler out of The Athletic. This dude knows what he's doing. If the Raiders pull off this draft right here, I think we all would be extremely happy. All right, guys, that's my time for today. I really appreciate you guys watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this draft overall, man. I think pick by pick is an excellent mock draft. I think this is probably the best mock draft I've seen so far for the Raiders. Great quality players, moving up when you need to, you're trading picks, getting guys that are going to be impact quality players for you, and also guys that you can develop to be impact quality players of the future. No wasted picks. You're going in there and you're making this team better every single time you make a selection. That's great work by Dane Brugler. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that the guys making the decisions for the Raiders kind of take a peek at this and we're like, you know what? That doesn't look so bad. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Make sure everyone please to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's a great way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do. And it's the absolute bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video, which I do appreciate. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.